Hi, I'm Mark and this is Foothill Paint and Fabrication. Today we're back on the 1950 Chevy truck bed and the running boards for the truck. We're just one step away from shooting some color and clear on these things. Today we're going to spray some Bedliner on the outside of the bed here where the fenders mount up to protect it, and also the underside of the running boards. We're going to spray those with some Bedliner, get those protected underneath. So let's just jump to this, knock this out so we can get some color and clear on these real soon. Okay, the plan is to spray Bedliner on the sides, on both sides, to protect it from corrosion and rocks and stuff like that. And originally I was just going to try to fake a tape line along here and guesstimate about where the body, the fender bolts up, but you know, that really wasn't a good idea. So I asked the owner the owner has the fenders, and I asked him to lay down some paper or cardboard, so he made this template for me. Which is perfect. So it's got the outside of the fender, it's got the inside flange, and then all the bolt holes. So what we'll do is I'll just cut just inside this line here, so the Bedliner goes up, will be underneath the fender flange, and so we'll be up a little bit. So I want to clear these holes, so I want to make sure no Bedliner makes it through to the other side, and we'll just trim that out, put some bolts in the holes in the cardboard to hold it in place, and then we'll just get ourselves a line on there, something to mask to. And then we'll be able to mask this up when we're spraying the Bedliner, keep it from going anywhere we don't want to. If I happen to screw up and a little bit of blue ends up down where the black is or whatever, we can always touch that up once the truck's assembled. So let me cut this up, get it bolted on here, we'll get a line on here, we can start masking. Okay, so I got the template cut out. I cut it actually right on the line here. Jake's coming over to help. We don't need help. Tell everybody bye. All right, off you go. Go on, away. So I cut right on the line. That way, when I'm masking, I can mask just above it. And I can see exactly where the flange is going to be. And as long as I'm just above that a little bit, we're going to be good. So the Bedliner is going to be a little thick. So I want to make sure that I don't get it too far up and cause that flange to bend out a little bit. So if we're just a 1/4 inch up into the covers, that'll be perfect. So I'm just going to mark it with a pencil real quick, real light, and so I know where I'm at. And then we can start masking. So having all the bolt holes in here marked really helped me. You know, the cardboard was kind of flimsy, but that helped me make sure it was all lined up perfectly. And I only needed one, so the other side I'll just, you know, flop it and then bolt it up there and mark the lines just like that too. So all we have to do is mask it. The biggest job today will be protecting all this primer when the Bedliner is being sprayed, because that stuff flings everywhere. So we're going to have to take a little bit of time getting a tarp on it, a plastic tarp or something. So let me get this off. I'm going to mark the other side, and then we can start masking. Okay, to mask this, I'm not going to try to do it with the paper to get around this radius. I'll go ahead and just rough it out with the tape, 3/4 inch tape first, and it doesn't have to be perfect. I'm just going to go about a 1/4 inch above this line, and it may be a little jagged. I mean, trying to bend, you know, 3/4 inch around these radiuses isn't easy. So we're just going to lay this down, like I said, about a 1/4 inch up, and just kind of inch our way around here. And we'll just put puckers in it as we go. It's not that big a deal. And there we go. So now I'll be able to take the the paper with tape on it and go around that a lot easier, and then we'll be good to go. So I'll probably bring some plastic in here, drape it over, and then tack it on here, and then put the paper over the plastic. And then first, before I forget, I'm going to get all these holes, through holes, make sure this stuff doesn't blast through. We're also going to have to protect each side of the inside of the bed, because when I'm spraying here, it's going to try to blast through and blob all over there and make a mess. So we're going to have to do a good job of protecting this thing. This stuff does splatter everywhere. But you know, it's the way it is, so we're just gonna have to protect it. It's a lot easier for me to actually do this first and then paint the blue, because I can protect this really easily while I'm spraying the color and clear, opposed to me trying to protect the color and clear while I'm spraying this, because if I get a little bit of this on the primer, I can fix that easily. But if it blobs all over the clear, now that's a lot bigger deal, trying to get that off without damaging the clear. So let's get some plastic tarp on this, knock some of these, cover some of these holes, and then we'll start getting some paper on it. Okay, got everything masked up. Got the plastic tarp over. I was able to cut it and just tape it right to the other tape we already put on there, saved me some paper. And it's masked from the back side as well, because I want to shoot up underneath this lip here a little bit with some of the bed liner, and that I want to make sure it doesn't spray up all over the place. So that's all done. Got one side done. Let's do the other side real quick, and then we'll move over to the running boards and get those masked up, and then we can start spraying. All right, we got the bed ready. The running boards will be a lot easier. All we have to do is take some paper and mask around this lip, wrap it around, and make it over to this lip here, and that's pretty much it. First things first, obviously we need to mask these holes from the back side. I think there's just the ones on the lip here, and then just one right here in the field. So we'll get some tape on those. These have already been scuffed a couple of times, so I know they're prepped and ready to go. So all we have to do is blow them off, and then get some tape and paper on them. So let's bust that out real quick, and then we can start spraying finally. Get these things done so we can get some color and clear on them. So instead of trying to use a longer paper and have it perfectly wrap around here, I'll just use a sheet this way and a sheet that way. It'll speed it up quite a bit, and we'll be able to get these masked up pretty fast. Then it'll just be a matter of taping them together, make sure it's sealed up. Okay, just like that, we're ready to spray. So, and in all honesty, this would have been easier to spray the blue on these first and then spray this. I would have been masking just the exact same way. But the problem is I need to shoot the bed, and I don't want to mix up two batches of the bed liner. So I'm having to mask it like this. I'll spray it just so I can get the bed done. And it's just part of the process. Otherwise, I'd have to mix a whole batch, clean up, and all the other stuff. So a few minutes masking, a little bit of tape and paper, it's well worth it. So I'm going to bust out the other one real quick, and we're going to mix up some bed liner, and we'll get this thing blasted out. Okay, this is Liner Extreme, excuse me. It's the mix ratio is 3:1:1, so it's 3 parts of the color of the black gooey stuff, 1 part activator and 1 part reducer. So I'm going to use the mixing cup. It's got a 3-1, a couple percentages in one, but I measured it out so I know exactly where to put it. So I'm going to mix. Like a full cup at a time. There's looks like about a third of a gallon left in here. So I'll pour the black up to here, and then I'll add the activator, which is really thick, and then I'll add some reducer, and then we'll see if it's what consistency it is. So let's pour this stuff off first. Let me get a stir stick. So we're going to go to the 5 right there. Now when you do this, if you ever use any of these 2-component systems, especially this really thick stuff, make sure you mix really well, because this stuff will not set up on its own. If it's unmixed, you'll have a soft spot or a blister later or something like that, because this stuff it's been sitting. I've had some of it, something on it here over here for a month and a half, and it's still gooey. So you want to make sure you get your activator in there mixed up really well. All right, we'll throw the activator in there. Now this stuff is even thicker. It's kind of hard to get out of the can here. It ain't gonna pour. We're gonna have to coax it out with a stir stick. Lucky I got plenty of them. So I'm just gonna kind of dollop this in there. It doesn't look separated at all, so we're shooting for right there. We get a big old blob of this. It's like really thick honey. And I don't want to scrape on the side and possibly get some of this on that and then go back in the can here. So it's going to take a minute. Okay. This cup actually acts as the spray cup as well. So when I used it last time, what I did was I took all the solvent that I used to clean the gun, and I just poured it right back in here, the final clean. So it may be discolored, but it'll be fine. I'm going to go right to there. And then I'm going to pour this extra solvent off into another mix cup, so we can use this for the spray cup. Okay, we got all the ingredients in there except the Kevlar. So now what we're going to do, I'm going to mix this up really well before I add that Kevlar in there, because it's dry, and I want to make sure that it doesn't lump together with the activator or anything and then trap it. So I want to make sure I get this good and mixed up. Now the instructions say I got a 30-minute open or pot life. It's pretty cool in the shop right now. It's 64 degrees, 65 degrees, so this is, with heat, this will set off faster. So it's cool enough here, so I'm not worried about running out of time. Okay, we got it all mixed up really well. I scraped the sides. We're going to go ahead and pour some of the Kevlar in. And this adds a lot of body to the undercoating, or bedliner in this case, I'm sorry. We're using it as undercoating. So I'm going to stir that in until it's good and wetted, and then I'll decide if I want to add any more. I'm going to add a little bit more, and then possibly some lacquer thinner for some reducer. As soon as you add the Kevlar in, it really gets a lot of body to it. You can see the texture change. It goes from kind of a really thick black paint to a, you can see it's like thin oatmeal. Now I'm add just a little bit of lacquer thinner. Now on the sides here and on the running boards, this is more corrosion and resistant, that type of thing, opposed to underneath the fenders where we are trying to protect the paint above from rock chips and those types of things. So this will be sprayed on a little bit thinner, but get us a good nice coat on there to protect it from you know, grime and mud and grease. and make sure this thing doesn't rust. So the truck can last another 70 years without a thorough paint job like this one. I'm going to mix this up, get it in a pot, and then we'll start spraying. Okay, we got everything ready, everything covered that I don't want the little specks of this stuff stuck all over. So the plan is there's a little lip here I want to spray up underneath there, and then just get a good solid coat on there, do the same thing on the other side, roll this outside, and then bring in the running boards and get those done. Okay, that's it right there. It's a pretty good coat. I don't know if I got enough to do everything. I may have to mix what's left in the can, but I got a good solid coat on there. It's sagging a little bit, so I probably should have went a little lighter on it, but we'll roll it out in the sun. It'll dry up quick. All right, that's all done. Okay, the hard part on this one is going to be getting up underneath here. So I'm going to just take it slow and put a couple of light coats on, and then just try to get up in there the best I can. Okay, we rolled the bed back in, and we'll use what's left in the cup just to get another light coat over the whole thing. I mixed the batch for the running boards a little thinner, so it would get in all the nooks and crannies really well. So I got them out in the sun, they're drying, and it looks like I've got really good coverage on there. So they're good to go, so we're just going to use up what's left. Okay, that's it. I'm going to park it out in the sun, let it set up. That way I can get it unmasked as soon as possible. Okay, here it is all done. You can tell there's pretty good texture on there. So it came out really good. As soon as it sets up a little bit, we're going to go ahead and get them unmasked. Running boards are over here, sitting out in the sun. Now the heat will help set this off. So if it's a really hot day when you're doing it, it'll go set off quicker, so you need to be mindful of that. But these look really good, so be glad to get these unmasked and get them prepped for final color and clear. Okay, moment of truth. I got all the other parts unmasked. It got out of my hands pretty good, but so I'll be really careful, make sure I don't touch the primer. Now this stuff's still pretty gooey, and that's when you need to take this off. Kind of peel it back on itself. Back and down towards itself a little bit. And it'll cut that line pretty nicely. Now obviously it doesn't matter on here, a fender bolts over it, but let's say you're doing a real bed liner with this. You want nice clean lines. And you can do it without that special wire that special tape that has a wire in it or anything with this stuff. You just have to hit it early. But it looks great. I mean, it came out beautifully. So it's going to get a fender and a tire next to it and probably a bunch of mud and stuff. But in any event, it looks good now. So all I have to do is clean all this goop off my fingers, and we are about done. Okay, that just about wraps up this video on using the bed liner as an undercoating on the sides of the bed and the underside of the running boards. It came out really good. If you're going to spray this bed liner stuff, please, if you're doing it in your driveway or garage, you got to throw drop cloths down or tarps or something, because it gets everywhere. I got footprints everywhere. I even got some dog prints around here with the bed liner on them. So you're going to have to protect the floor as well. It kind of gets everywhere. But it did a great job here on the side of the bed and the running board. I'm really happy. The lines came out clean. It's unfortunate they're just going to get a fender slapped over the top of them, but you know, that's life. Now this is going to have to set at least a couple of days so it's good and cured before I can mask over the top of it and protect it so I can spray color and clear. But you know, that's okay. We'll roll this out in the sun, let it bake a little bit and speed that up, and then we'll be ready to go. So thanks for joining me here at Foothill Paint and Fabrication. Don't forget to hit the like and subscribe button if you haven't already, and mash that bell icon so you get notifications every time I release a new video. We'll see you on the next one.